BMW IBSF Women's Bobsled World Championships at a sunny Innsbruck track. We're at the village of Igls and the mountains just above the double Olympic city. What a stunning location for the World Championships as we head into the fourth final deciding run of the Women's Bobsleigh title race. Martin Haven and John Morgan watching the action with you trackside as we are poised to decide the medals.
Good crowd on hand, as expected. Third heat highlights. Elana Myers-Taylor, Lauren Gibbs, they were in third, and they didn't really position themselves to challenge for gold. They fell off the pace, and they also fell back of Kaylee Humphreys by an additional 20 hundredths. So they're pretty solidly in third place. Elana won the World Championships last year. Kelly Humphreys, well, Melissa Loholtz. Well, Kelly Humphreys has won this event 4 of the last 6 years, including 2 Olympic golds in 2010 and 2014. She's solidly in second, but she's a distance away from first. She's got 1,700ths lead over Myers-Taylor, but she's 3,600ths away from Anja Schneider-Heinz and Annika Drazik. Wow, these two have been just consistent all 3 heats, the best start times. And when you have the best start on this track where the emphasis is all about the start, you have a great chance to win at the bottom. And she certainly positioned herself to win her first World Championship as a driver.
Yeah, nearly a decade on to the week since she won it as a brakewoman in the Olympic Games, and 11 years since she and Sandra Kyriasis were the world champions in the women's bobsleigh. She leads the field with enough margin to make a couple of sizable errors and still get home across the line. 18 sleds go in reverse order, and there perhaps, and dare we say it, is your world champion-elect. And what a conclusion to her season that would be. One World Cup race remains after the World Championships, but this is the big one for her. And there's Elena Nolter, goes with Stephanie Schneider, the second of the German girls. Not beyond the bounds of possibility, if something goes wrong in front of her, that they might end up on the podium. Melissa Loholtz on the right there, with Anja Schneider-Heinz warming up in some late afternoon sunshine. Kaylee Humphreys, the Canadian, lying in second place, double world champion. And in third place, the reigning world champion, Elana Myers-Taylor. So it is a quality field that Schneider-Heinz leads. We go in reverse order of their standings. So 18th is length.The from Belgium. She will go off first. And the 18th and final sled on the ice, facing her moment of greatness, is Anja Schneider-Heinz, with this sensational young brakewoman Annika Drazik behind her. So much of this will be down to their starts, but it's not just push and wait for the finish line. You've got to do some driving in between, and that's where the question marks remain. Final fourth deciding run of the Women's Bobsleigh World Championships here in Igls in Austria. length.The and Nell Paulison get us underway for Belgium. First appearance at the senior level for these two women. Total age in the sled, 41 years old. Race leader Anja Schneider-Heinz, 37 on her own.
Well, Schneidi has been around. These young ladies are the product of the famous Belgian Bullets program that emerged after somebody got a reality TV program idea that will, hey, let's try and follow some girls around who could maybe make it into the Olympic Games in bobsledding. That was in the summer of 2006, and here we are 10 years later, and the successful reality program for a couple of years on in Belgium, and launched the Belgian program.
Very new to the sport, length.The, only driving in her second season now. Still learning these tracks. She's driven here twice before, so this week she'll have doubled her knowledge of the track.
You know, we talk about Vancouver, they made their debut, and they finished 12th to 13th, but in Sochi, Elfie Williamson from Belgium finished in 6th, and she was right in the chance for a medal going to that second day.
Yep.
She'll come up a couple sleds from now, so and they call them, you know, there's certain parts of the track. Exit of Kreisel, you need a slingshot effect under the bottom part of this very easy track. But watch the next curve, the entry of the next curve. Watch the back end of the sled. She hits there. That's not how you want to go around a turn. Skidding into the take-on is where you get on. The outlet's where you get off the curve right there. Here's the take-on. This was okay down the bottom, but she's on a learning curve. Her first World Championships. Congratulations to them.
Safely down, no dramas for them. Lenderdek and El Paulison, the leaders at the moment. Next up, Anne van Nieuwenhuizen with Loes Hubrecht, second of our three Belgian teams. They have a handy advantage over their teammates.
They've recruited from the track and field. See, they've got a lot of hammer throwers. Field event athletes, they suffer at the start, and on this track, the Belgian Bullets are named because they're fast at the bottom. But this is only a 1,220-meter track. In St. Moritz, 1,700 meters, which we were last week. You know, Whistler, the fast tracks. This girl here got fourth in Whistler after crashing twice in practice. Whistler, you know, we're going 115, 120 clicks here. In Whistler, they're going over 190, or excuse me, 150 clicks.
Lenderdek had her fastest run of the competition so far, some 1,200s quicker than her previous best. So let's see if that's the case for Anne van Nieuwenhuizen as well.
Ducks her head there at the end.
That's her little trademark, is it? 53.97. Well, she was 500s quicker in her first trip down. She gets back down into the 53s after two 54-second runs.
Little change in temperature. The sun's starting to set behind the Tyrolean Alps. You talk about the start, the cohesion needed at the start. Watch the feet. We like to be able to say you don't want to have your feet with a lot of air time. You want to have some stride, but you want to cut down on the air. You want to get your feet on the ground and use those 1/16 of an inch spikes to push off and explode at the start, where you need an explosion to have fast speed down to Kreisel. And let's see what she does here. The exit, you don't want to let the sled come on off, and she comes off too early. She taps on her left or right, and that doesn't help that slingshot effect that you want.
So Belgian sleds first and second. Next up is Christine de Bruyn from Canada. She has Cynthia Appiah behind her. De Bruyn married to the Dutch bobsledder Evo. 26-year-old driver, 24-year-old brakewoman.
First World Championships. Cynthia Appiah, she gets it. Look how buried she is back there.
Flexible.
Someone's taught her well about riding the sled, or she's not that big. She fits in the sled well, but you got to get in there with an aerodynamic profile on the back of that sled, and you have to be comfortable. You can't just be acting like a sandbag in there. You have to feel yourself down the track. She's so buried in there, the dirty air comes over the back of the sled, and she's in a perfect position where the air can exit well.
5800s up on their team, on the Belgians. Pulling away a little.
Only athlete to crash in training this week.
She's only 2700s up from the first
She's
three.
pulling away here.
She's really extending that now.
Might be her best of the 4 heats.
Previous best 53.85. That is her best run down the track. So that's a really good run from her. 53.77.
Boy, she just went 1900s, 2100s better, which means the track does have more speed than it did in the first heat today, third heat of the competition.
Yeah, middle of the afternoon, not really the best time for ice.
Now, getting in the sled, but you don't want to rock the sled left or right. You want to get in. Look at the start grooves. The sled's still in there. The driver's got to get down, and she has a little problem getting in, but she escapes. She doesn't have her hands in the D-rings yet, and she's out of the grooves. It's not easy doing that. And here at the exit of 9, she made a little late error, but she didn't overcorrect. Sled came straight, and she had her best heat of the competition.
All right, she is in pole position to go and grab the box of donuts from the Canada van. Next up is Austria's Katrin Beil with Carleen Slepper behind her. Both of the Austrian sleds with Dutch-born brakewomen. Carleen, a javelin thrower, and Katrin, the driver, a hurdler. So she's very clumsy, always ends up hurting herself. Well, hopefully not so far in this competition. Look at the way she beats up her brakewoman. Little rub on the back and then bang, bang, ready to go.
Power, explosion, on a very flat start track. Innsbruck is 65% about to start. Most other tracks, it's 50 to 55% is the evaluation that us expert bobsledders give. There's no track in the world where the emphasis is on the start than it is here in Innsbruck.
Like most of the teams, their starts, all four of them within 500ths of a second of each other.
She's 10 hundredths off the pace of the Canadians at the start. But she just went from stopped the bleeding, went to 200ths, up. Now she's 300ths up.
She was 1400ths up after the first heat. She needs her local knowledge to find a bit more pace here.
This is good lines. This is her World Championship debut. The first 3 out of 4 sleds are all World Cup and World Championship rookies. She's flying here. This is another fast run. This could be her fastest run of the competition.
Fastest so far, 53.82, and she
does nail it. Her fastest run of 4 times down.
Identical run to that of Christine de Bruyn.
And this is a personal best. When you've never competed before in a World Championships, you get to the bottom, and you know you have a race within a race. You're racing against other girls that you've competed against in the Europa Cup and the development tours. And she was good. The track's faster. Every sled down's getting a little quicker. Ooh, little airborne there.
Yeah.
That's getting on the take-on too early. Little bump there that says, oh, not yet.
Bumped Carleen up out of the saddle, didn't it, in the back of the sled. Carleen with the back to us. That's Katrin, the driver. Big smile on her face. Might be once in a career opportunity to race in a World Championships on your home track. And it's her first ever Worlds. That tunnel, incidentally, goes under the ski slope here, which is why the outrun goes down a tunnel. Romania's Maria Constantin and Angia Grecu, both already bobsled drivers. Angia started driving this season. And they will compete in a 4-woman race, or a demonstration event next week as well for Romania.
See the big sticker on the side, Sinaia Bobsled Club. That's from the old track that was up in the mountains above Bucharest. Sinaia, great track, closed in the 80s, but some of the traditional bobsled people in Romania started putting logos on the sleds and their uniforms. We love our tradition here in bobsled.
They were 300s in front of Katrin Bile from the first 3 runs. They started 300s slower than her. Now dropping a little behind as a result of that slower getaway. Last year's Europa Cup champions.
She's losing back to 4 to 6. So she's bleeding. That's a little more of an open wound there.
Afraid that's going to drop her behind Bile. She might also
maybe
lose a
not,
spot.
though. Speed is good. She came back even from that skid.
500s behind.
Tied.
Tied.
Our first time.
There you go.
Paul Diaghilev. Multiple Olympian for Romania back in the 80s, early 90s. For the leader of the band for Romania. Does a great job. Boy, they let the sled go way up here. Of course, it doesn't matter now. It's the final heat of the World Championships for them. Oh, they might be. They'll have a team race competition.
Yeah, they are in the team
That's coming
race.
up later today. No, that's later tomorrow.
That's tomorrow afternoon, yeah.
Getting ahead of myself. That tap, that cost her the lead because she got laid here. Laid up before 10, still laid down here. Then when you're late, you start to steer. When you start to steer, that's friction.
They're in a German-Romanian team in the team race. They lead the race with 13 to come. Alicia Rissling from Canada with Julia Carenti behind her, second of 3 Canadian sleds in this Women's World Championships.
Another World Championship debut here for both of them.
26-year-old basketball player from Edmonton, Alberta, is the driver, Alicia. Second year driving the sled. She was a brakewoman for a season before that.
65 start. Only her teammate Christine McGrone and Abia were better. She's a little taller, sits up a little higher in that talent. Some of the athletes you're going to see coming up, you can barely see their helmet. She's got 2/3 of her helmet above the talent. I bet you that's something they correct by next season. She's a tall athlete.
At this stage in her learning career, she wants to see as much as she can. She can't take everything for granted yet.
Ooh, she was airborne there.
There you go.
But she's got enough in the bank. She'll take the lead. She does. 53.67.
Fastest run the
No, she
so far.
ties. Yeah, she ties her first heat time. So almost close to best time in the competition. The first and fourth heats tied to the 100th of a second. Hey, another twosome. Hey, a race within a race. Her left foot might have been back too far there. You want to hit at the same time. Look at the hands come off there. That's an incorrect technique by the brakeman. You want to be able to, like a clean and jerk exercise in the weight room. That's why the bobsledders practice it so much. Then it's about athleticism. And you know, we talk about bobsledders, more of an emphasis on the lower body power now. And you can see that from those great pictures. Down here, watch the sled get airborne in the back. Right there. And it came off of that 13. I thought I saw a little there. Didn't show it there.
There's the tall figure of your race leader, Alicia Rissling. Julia Carenti beside her on the right-hand side of your shot. 12 sleds to come here in Innsbruck in Austria. The first of whom is Nadezhda Sergeyeva and her brand new young 19-year-old brakewoman, Yulia.
Sprinter. She's probably the youngest athlete in the competition. Might be the lightest.
She may be the only athlete on whom a skin-tight suit doesn't look skin-tight.
She's a sprinter. They just got her out here, and they'll put some weight on her. I asked her coach Oleg yesterday when she was in for a headshot. I said, when are you going to put her driving? She looked a little nervous.
Yeah.
When I said that to coach Oleg,
she's only just starting to learn how to be a brakewoman.
But boy, there's such a track and field crossover of the Russian program. That start so far, 5:61.
That'll be in the top half dozen in the field.
She had a big problem in the first heat. She crushed the wall the first heat. Really put her back, and she should be up in the top 10.
Now, she only needs to find 200s on Great Britain's Misha McNeil to move up a spot, so this could be a really crucial run for her.
This looks good.
Nice looking run.
53.70. It's not her best run. Her best run of the competition was 53.58.
Luckily, she had 4/10 over Alicia Rissling because she's lost a few hundreds there. So Nadezhda Sergeyeva has the lead for Russia with 11 sleds still to come.
Watch how high she comes with the curve. You know, that high means she's got to dive out of there, steer a little bit. That wasn't the optimum line. Down here, curve 9 and 10. Look how low she is, though. Her only half of her helmet, her eyes barely above the cowlet.
Nadezhda Sergeyeva comes towards us, and there is her brakewoman on the left. You're going to have to learn how to pronounce Yulia's surname, but I'm not going to mangle it for a fourth time. She's suffered enough. Brand new, 19 years old. A couple of months in the sport only. Next up, a little bit more experience, Misha McNeil on this track 4 years ago. She was the silver medalist in the first ever Youth Olympic Games. That race last year for the USA, this year for her other home nation of Great Britain. They're in 11th spot, 200s ahead of our current leader.
Natalie Durant competed for the United States last year. She married an American, worked in North Carolina, was on the U.S. team. Look at the snow come off the back of that sled underneath. But now she's got a dual citizenship, so she's gone back to make the Olympic team for the Great Britain. You know, Misha is the only female in the driver's position for Great Britain. You know, if you go back a few years, 7 years ago, Nicola Minicello for Great Britain won the World Championships in Lake Placid. Oh, she's 200s back.
She needs to find about a 10th to try and get back into the top 10, and it's not coming. She's off down the 10th spot, 10th overnight.
Well, down to 100 though, maybe not, she's not steering. She didn't steer out of curve 9.
Had a little bump there, you saw her head come up, but 300's back. And that moves up Nadezhda Shegeva and Yulia Belomostink.
You know, she's obviously finally figured out that you don't steer on this track to go fast, but on the exit of curve 9, she was a little late.
500 slower than the Russian. She only had 200s in the bank. She slips a spot.
Look at this. Boy, those runners ran out of ice. She was almost up on the wood there on that exit. And then she hits and steers away a little bit. More problems than down here in the labyrinth. Three-quarter combination, the back end of the sled. A little error. It's that take on a little early. Just try to steer over there, get on that take out of the curve early.
And anything that bumps you up in the air is robbing you of forward motion. Not quite sure which one of Isaac Newton's laws that is, but I know that there is one that tells you all of that. Next up then, we're going to have a Russian leader at the end of this heat, but will it be Nadezhda Sergeyeva or Alexandra Rodionova? With her brave woman, Nadezhda Viderka. Viderka brand new to the team this season. And Rodionova should, as the junior, former junior world champion, should well be up in contention. Former loser, she raced to 6th position in the Vancouver Games for the Russian luge team. Only converted to bobsled a couple of seasons ago.
Well, tied to the 100th of a second now, 5:71. Her teammate had a 10/100ths better start, so these will be red numbers. And she's going to have to, like we say, we don't like to say it too often, but we do. She needs to stop the bleeding, and she just did. That should have gone out to 5 or 6/100ths to the red, and she's got it already back in the green. So her luge experience, you would think, carries right over to bobsledding, but I thought we'd see more progression out of her this season, and we have not.
She was only a 10th up on her teammate from the first heat. She's only 900ths up on her now. This is not quite as quick a run as we saw from Sergeyeva, but now
boy, she's flying.
Yeah.
And here comes her luge experience.
Look out down the bottom. She's got the speed to the line. 53.50, her fastest run of the competition. Wow. Is her last. And that might put Nyquist Althea Willemsen of Belgium under pressure.
Wow.
Rodionova finally unlocks this track in her head for the 4th and final run.
If she had Sergeyeva's start time, she'd really be challenging. I think she had a little slip at the start, though. You know, she's got the 5th best start. Look at the feet now. See if there's a slip here. There, right there. Yeah. It didn't come off. The explosion off the block. Cohesion. Now the driver and the brakeman have got to hit that back push bars exact. Look at the right knee. Almost got caught up on the right part of the sled. So they didn't have the perfect hit. And now this is where the track and field coaches all can estimate how should you run. Feet low across the ice.
That may be the greatest ever camera angle for a brake woman's legs. Just makes them look so long. That is Nadezhda Viderka on the right and your leader, Alexandra Rodionova. Next up, Althea Willemsen from Belgium with Sophie Verkrijsen. 8.5 years ago, they were in front of TV cameras starting a voyage into the unknown. Now they've competed in 2 Winter Olympic Games and numerous World Championships.
You know, we've given her the name the Queen of Speed because she gives up all this time at the start and always has the best speed on the bottom part of every track she's on. And today and yesterday, no different. She had the best speed the first heat by quite a bit, but she just gives up so much time at the start. And this is a short 1,220-meter track. She needs a 1,400, 1,500-meter track to compete on. And she won 2 medals earlier in the season in Altenburg and Königssee, which are tracks. Königsee's short. Königsee's pretty challenging.
Nice lines, but the gap from 1,400s at the start is down to 200s. She'll be negative at the next clock. That skid will take speed away that Rodionova had. 200s. Ooh,
she's famous for that steering. That's because she's fast. She does it on the back.
Goodness me, 53.67, 1,700 slower than Rodionova, but she was 2/10 up, leads by 300s.
77 start, 400's better than her last heat. That's what has saved her position, but you know, she's 4th in World Cup points. This is just not fair for her to have a short 1,220 meter track to compete on, because her talent's in the longer tracks. You know, all these lines down here, I'll tell you, she's not steering. That's why she's fast. She's got a great coach, Janis Skrekens, the Latvian, who's coached many of the teams on tour. Look at the lines. Quiet. Quiet because she's not steering.
She always knew it's going to be tough work here.
The track is clear. United States of America.
Alfie Willemsen and Belgium leads with 10 sleds down and 8 to go. Casey Eberling for the USA, 8th place off the first heat. What a story this is. A great woman turned driver in her second season, 8th place in her first World Championships with 1 run left.
Carrie Jones at the brakes, the track and field athlete from Baylor. Katie Eberling, a big Chicago Cubs fan we like to keep bringing up. Very unlucky not making the Olympic team in 2014. She had been the brakeman on 2 consecutive World Championship medal sleds for the United States in 12 and 13. Didn't make the team. No errors, so persistent attitude. Coming out, I'm going to control the destiny myself. Get in the front seat to drive. Oh, big skid there.
1300s ahead of our current leader from the first heat. The gap now out from 47 down to 3700s, but this is another really good run.
See if she can match her fastest 53.49.
100th away from her fastest, which is a 53.48, but that means that she will finish her first ever World Championships no worse than 8th.
That's a great result.
That's a result I don't think the coaches would have expected of her necessarily coming in here.
Got to give her great confidence going into next year. She's a great athlete in the front seat. Real higher, the second time in a row, she's really way above that X drive is marking what we use. Now here, a little late coming out of here. Watch the end of this. Look at that. Back end of the sled skidding as she skids into the takedown of 10.
And that's
sled got away from her there.
Cost about 1500s, but she still has a comfortable lead. Will be top 8 guaranteed.
World Championship rookie.
And another one. This is Mariama Yamanka. Didn't even do the first 2 World Cup races of the season because she hadn't raced on enough tracks to qualify. But she has taken it all in her stride, and with Elina Nolta, her brakewoman, 7th place after the first 3 heats.
She's just been at every event. Never been in North America. She handled Lake Placid, handled Park City, handled the speed track in Whistler, didn't crash. Here she is, fighting for a top 7 of the World Championships. Impressive. Gives up a little time at the start, but I think they got somebody here who could drive. 2100 speed.
Most of that comes from the first heat.
She's pulling away.
Yeah, she's starting to open up the margin of fraction.
Look at that line. I mean, I've been impressed with her all year, especially the North American tour. She'd never been in the United States and Canada. She came out of there unscathed. And, well, what a great season she's had. 53.44. 500ths
of a second quicker than Casey Eberling's last slide.
Christoph Langen, the second greatest 2-man bobsled champion in the history of the sport, looks on and he's happy with the progress this young girl's made.
And she should be as well. Elina Nolta is absolutely thrilled with that. Matches their fastest start, 5:62.
Technique. You know, we try and see, lock your arms in. Don't have such a high stride. Erin Nolta's been around for a few years. She's lost about 8 to 10 kilos because of that new rule in women's bobsledding, which lesser weight for the women in the sleds. Back end here, 11, 12, 13. Good transition. What a great season she's had.
There's Elina Nolta. Mariama Yamanka, rookie season, finishes her first World Championship no worse than 7th. 6 to go. The German has the lead. Top 6 in the Women's Bobsled World Championships in Austria. Martin Haven, John Morgan trackside, and on the blocks, Jamie Grubel-Poser and Sherelle Garrett. Sherelle won the World Championship last year behind Alana Myers-Taylor. Told me a little earlier she's got a hamstring strain after yesterday. Let's see if they can hold up at their start.
Actually did pretty good the first run, 57. Everybody else was 3/400 slower. She was only 100 slower than yesterday's time. 55 even better. Jamie medaled in 6 of the 7 races coming into this competition. And all of a sudden, the first couple days of training, we noticed her times were not there. Sometimes people just don't go for it in training, but it obviously is carried over to the race. She shouldn't be back here. She should be up challenging for the podium.
It's been a standout season for her, 2 race wins. The only other woman to have won races, Kaylee Humphries.
Sherelle Garrett on the brakes was on Alana Myers' World Championship sled last year in Winnipeg. USA is deep in great track and field weight.
3,700's up now, starting to rebuild her advantage over Mariama Yabanka from Germany. And across the line, that's a great run from Jamie Grubel-Poser.
Only 700s off her first run yesterday.
Her first today was a 53.53.
55 start. Good job, ladies. 310's up.
Good way to finish. Well, athleticism in the first 50 meters. They get in these sleds. You think it's easy getting in? Trust me. You're like the pitcher covering first base, somebody trying to make a layup, the extra point in football. It doesn't always go to form here in bobsledding at the start. Here's the last curve. Now watch her dive out. The red line is the finish line. Might be a little trick here.
Sherelle Garrett, she may take a rest. I'm not sure she's going to go in the team competition now. She's looking like she's feeling the strain of leaving 101% on the start.
We gave it everything we had. They're very proud as they walk away.
Always does. 5 to go, and here's Austria's big story. Christina Hengster crashed in the first heat when she may have perhaps threatened for the medals. Now she needs to find 2200s to move up 1 further spot. Can she do it?
She crashed upside down with 100 meters to the finish line, still finished in 8th place. She's a poster child for this World Championship. She's her pictures all over town, billboards. Comes out and astonishingly crashed in the first run. It's, you know, the whole venue went quiet. And then we didn't know if she was going to go. Not only did she go, she's come out and did really well the next 2 heats.
Now the story here is she was only 300s ahead of Jamie Grubel-Poser, who had 2 middling runs and not a great one as her 3rd run. Christina's still in the red. It may come down to the very final corner.
This is where she crashed. Right here, the curve coming up. Right next curve, she's down 10. She's not going to catch Jamie Grubel-Poser here. Still a great result for this girl. To crash on her home track, probably been down 400 times on this track without crashing. But still, for her to get out and come up and still compete and finish 6th, tells you how tough she is. Both her and her brakeman. But you know, this is not the result she wanted. But Christina, great comeback. Start. Look at her coach, Manfred Mayer, screaming in the back. Look at Decker here. She's got a lot of experience. Look at her hands, never came off the 2 push bars. Look at her arms, pretty well locked. Stride, her toes are low to the ground. Technique.
Four sleds to go in the Women's Bobsled World Championships. 2 of them are German sleds. Martin Haven, John Morgan watching the action trackside.
I don't know how many times we've said it. Here's another World Cup rookie, World Championship rookie. Last year at this time, she was the brakeman in Kathleen Martini's bronze medal winning sled in Winterberg. And the Germans grabbed her out of the back seat, put her in the front seat, and here she is 1 year later, looking very impressive. We saw last week in St. Moritz, Great debut in the World Cup, and here she is challenging for a top 4 finish. The Germans lost the big three: Susie Erb and Sandra Kiriasis, Kathleen Martini. They won 7 of the 10 world championships in the previous decade. All of a sudden, they're all gone, and the Germans started looking around. Well, I think they found a couple. Schneiderheinz is 36 years old. She's leading the race. This girl here is 23. Monaco we just saw is young. So the Germans got a few developed athletes. Both world championship debut. They can't match Jamie Grubel-Poser. But he's still happy for a top 5 finish. Look at that. She lost her placing. Christoph Lange is very happy. Listen to him. Maybe a race within a race where the Germans would reward her for a top 5 finish. This mistake here cost her.
Stephanie Schneider, the race leader, from Jamie Grubel-Poser and Christina Hengster, with 3 sleds still to go. Top of the track, our world champion, Alana Myers-Taylor. The final slide of the Women's Bobsled World Championships. Lauren Gibbs behind her. They've been the 2nd fastest starter in each of the 3 runs so far. 2nd fastest, 4th fastest, and 3rd fastest trips down the ice. She won last year with the fastest start and 3 fastest trips. This time, she's coming from behind and trying to hold off the junior world champion, Stephanie Schneider.
Lauren Gibbs, one of the taller athletes in the competition, volleyball player for Brown. 2nd best starts they've had in the competition, 5:46, best start of the heat. Alana missed 3 or 4 races with concussion syndrome. So we sent her back to the U.S. and she went through some testing, some rehab. Came back in St. Moritz last week, and did she win the race? And here, just didn't get it off the blocks in the first heat. Challenged Schneiderheinz, beat her at the start, beat her at the bottom. Now she's going to challenge for a silver medal position here against Kaylee Humphries. This looks like a much better run.
1700s behind Humphries. She's extending her advantage over the junior world champion, Stephanie Schneider of Germany.
This is her best run of the 4. Let's see if it's in the time, but these lines were great. 53:15.
Not as quick even as her first run, though. She really needed to get into the 52s. That's where the leader has dipped. Well, she's happy with the run, and she will be in the medals.
5th straight year she's made the medals, right? 9th, in 2009 she medaled as a brakeman. 2010 she medaled in the Olympics as a brakeman. 11, 12, 13, 14. Might be the 7th straight year she's medaled. That's a lot of medals. Start. Well, this is an athlete in the front seat here, Alana Myers. She might be one of the best athletes of anybody. Lauren Gibbs, tall, 5'11" frame, 6-foot frame in there. Congratulations, ladies, at least a bronze.
And it's a race, so who knows what else might happen. Kaylee Humphries, double Olympic and double world champion. Won her titles in 2010, 12, 13, 14. Now lies in 2nd position, 3600s back. She needs something special to happen, and it's not necessarily all in her hands.
You got to watch out here to try and put too much emphasis in getting a longer start. You got to get in, get down before you hit the wall. That happens here sometimes. People get a little supercharged at the start. 5:50 start, which 500's better than her first run today.
That's 2nd fastest in the competition. Kaylee's not going to be seduced into running it too far into corner 1. She knows too well what she's about.
She's won this event 4 of the last 6 years. She's got more hardware than any other athlete in the field, including 2 Olympic gold medals in 2010 and 14. 1300s.
She was 1700s up for the first heat.
That's relative to the start. She's been quick down here in the bottom. 16, yeah, so this will be for a silver medal at least for Kaylee Humphries. Melissa Loholtz of Canada. 1600s down. As the coaches celebrate.
Tom Delahunty and Stefan Bosch. Down at the bottom, Katie Humphries guarantees herself yet another medal.
Goggles, only athlete in the field with the goggles on. Kaylee, how do you feel? And start. Loholtz, this is her first year, been teamed up, struggled a little bit. You saw her shoulders, left to right. Energy was going sideways and not straight ahead, so that's that explosion coming off the block. Canadians do a great job. Of course, they have that push house up in Calgary that they can perfect that little tap there on the exit of 9.
So Kaylee Humphries, the race leader, one. As Melissa, one sled left to go. Last year's World Championships, they were out of the medals.
I'm sure these two have been told by their coaches not to run too far.
Igls World Cup race last year, Anja Schneider-Heinze second. And in the World Championships last year, Anja Schneider-Heinze second. But she has led this competition from the moment she hit the ice with her brakewoman, Annika Draczyk. Destiny awaits.
Well, the only thing they could lose this if they get in somehow mishap. But they haven't done that. They're in as smooth as anybody. 5:42 start, the best start in all 4 competitions. Schneider-Heinze won the Olympic gold medal as a brakeman in Torino 10 years ago next week. But this will be her first world championship as a driver. This is, from this point on, it's almost a victory lap.
Well, she's done it all, hasn't she? Fastest start in all 4 competitions. She broke the track record in the first heat. She said she wanted to get away to a good start, and boy, did she.
She's had a history of being inconsistent. That's why, but that won't cost her too much.
That's what 3600s gives you. It allows you to make a mistake. She's still extending
This is it. The world champion, Anja Schneider-Heinze, has finally captured it as a driver.
10 years after being Olympic champion as a brakewoman, 11 after being world champion as a brakewoman, she is a world champion driver in women's bobsleigh. She's old enough to be her brakewoman's mother, but this team together, what a triumph. She just said, when I hit it, I thought we'd lost it. She had too much of an advantage to lose.
She's toiled for 6 years. Everybody said she wasn't a good driver. She had not medaled on the World Cup season until last weekend in Saint-Moritz. She had gone 0 for 5. German media beating her up.
There's Alina Nolta in tears of joy for her teammates.
She's 20.
Wow. You know, swap these two around in a decade. What's Annika Draczyk going to be doing as a driver? Because she is some athlete the same way that Schneider was. If Dracyk's not driving before the games in 2014, I'll be amazed. 2018. Indeed. We've had 2014, that was a while ago.
There's a pig right there. That's got to be Alana Myers.
Yeah.
Lauren Gibbs giving them hugs. Well, they did it at the start. Best starts, all 4 heats. Best spot time at the bottom, all 4 heats. I think she's silenced her critics about she can't drive. She wins the World Championships 10 years to almost to the week after she won the Olympic gold medal as a brakeman.
A week Sunday, it'll be the 10th anniversary of her Olympic gold with Sandra Kyriasis. The snow flies, the champagne is open. Schneider, world champion.
No more doubters now.
One of the most chilled, the most fun athletes to be around.
Auch einen guten 6. Platz für Österreich. Deutschland noch einmal mit Jamanka Nolte auf Rang 7.
And confirmation of the result. She lost just 0.03 of a second in that final run to Olympic champion Kaylee Humphries. Anja Schneider-Heinze wins. Kaylee Humphries takes the silver. Alana Myers-Taylor hands over her world championship but keeps a bronze medal ahead of the junior world champion Stephanie Schneider. Jamie Grubel-Poser back up to 5th ahead of hometown hero Christina Hengster. And that is the Women's World Championship. On a beautiful afternoon here, Saturday in Innsbruck. Finally, a decade after winning as a brakewoman, Anja Schneider-Heinze wins as a driver. Jamie Grubel-Poser there to offer her congratulations to Schneidi and Annika Dracek.
Good crowd on hand. They witness what they usually see here in Innsbruck. The team with the best start at the top of the track is most likely the winner at the bottom of the track. Tremendous emphasis on athleticism in the first 50 meters, and Schneidi, as we call her, delivered.
It's easier than saying Schneider-Heinze every time, but that's what they call her in the team as well. And a great brakewoman like Kaylee Humphries becomes a standout driver, like Alana Myers-Taylor as well.
And she's always had that same smile on her face, win, lose, or draw. Been a great sportsman, and she's been through a lot. She's been through a lot, you know, a lot of media just saying that she doesn't have the ability. Of course, in Germany, there's first place, and then the second place is the first loser. You know, so they, you know, her coach, that's all Christoph Lange, but, you know, his whole life was about gold medal or go home.
3 different nations on the podium, Germany, Canada and the USA. 3 different sled builders, FES for Germany. Kaylee Humphries in a BTC sled with Eurotech rear axle, and Alana Myers-Taylor in a BMW sled. And our sports chiropractors, like everybody else, taking some selfies here around the track. This beautiful afternoon here over the city of Innsbruck, and there it is laid out down below. It's daytime or nighttime, a great view off this mountain. Innsbruck in Austria, 64-76 Olympic Games, and in 2016 the IBSF BMW World Championships. The women's bobsleigh crown has gone to the oldest athlete in the field and one of the most redoubtable. Anja Schneider-Heinze of Germany finally triumphs a decade after winning Olympic gold, 11 years after winning a World Championship gold medal, with Sandra Kyriasis as her brakewoman. She and Annika Dracek swept the field aside in the start area and beat them all ends up down this Innsbruck track. 1,200 meters. She was invincible, a well-deserved world champion with a double world champion in second and the outgoing world champion also on the podium in third. Schneidi beats the best and beats them well.
Flower ceremony. A lot of world champions up there. Between them,
4 world championship titles in the last 5 years between those 3 drivers.
The only one missing in the last 6 years from that mix, Kathleen Martini, 2011.
Well, she's here. She's working for German TV as the announcer, and I guarantee her pink jacket is going to be in shot in about 30 seconds after we go off air. That might actually be her waving from the balcony. That's where the commentary positions are, right above champagne, and why not? The champagne of thrills for Anja Schneider-Heinze and Annika Dracek. It is today. Congratulations, herzlich Glückwunsch to our new world champions. She might just be the oldest in women's bobsled history to take their title. And that is it. Our first gold medal of the 2016 World Championships has been awarded. Tomorrow the men go in their final two heats in two-man, and there's the team competition. Join us for all the action. Till then, from John Morgan, the IBSF TV crew, and myself, Martin Haven. Thank you for being with us. We'll see you tomorrow for more action from Eagles.